I'm well, man. I can't complain.
Good,
All
good.
right. What's good with the OG Bison Talk? We in the house now. What's happening? What's happening? Let me open up this chat.
Yeah, let me open mine up. Okay,
Getting used to this. There you go. All right, we up and running.
okay, okay. I'll probably go on after you today.
I
Um,
think we're on right now.
oh,
No.
okay.
What's going on, Marcus the villain? Hey, hold on. Hey, can you hit that?
Oh, let me turn this down.
Yeah, hit the mute when you're not talking, man, because it kind of makes it cut.
Okay, hold on.
All right. All right, man. Marcus the villain, what's good, man? Everybody, hope everybody enjoyed the fight last night. Brothers UK, what's going on, man? Champions first, what's going on? Make sure you guys can hear me. Brothers UK, what's going on, man? Yeah, you guys can hear me. I don't know. This mic seems like kind of sucks today. You got an echo for now? Yeah, man. I'm in this room. I think it's this. I think it's this microphone, man. Let me change myself. What's going on, Big Dog Willie? Hold on a second. Yeah, I think it's his mic. I got to get a new mic, man. Yeah, they were really good fights last night. Michelle Bouchard, what's going on? All right, let me. Hey, what do you think, KQKC, man? What do you think about that fight? Also, I need Curtis Anderson's email. If anybody has Curtis Anderson's email, you got Curtis Anderson's email?
I got it.
You can. Can you like put it in the chat, or maybe you can send a link? You might be able to send a link through your chat. But let me
Okay.
check my microphone real quick. Make sure I'm actually on my microphone and not.
Okay, just one second. Let me find. Okay, here you go. Okay, I threw. I sent it through my link. I'm gonna put you on mute. Okay.
All right, cool. All right, yeah, man. That was. Let me hold this mic like right here. Wilder, great impersonation of Devin. Nah, great Wilder impersonation by Devin. Man, he looked spectacular, man, in that fight. Man, he absolutely looked spectacular in that fight. All right, man. Let me see if I can.
Okay.
Cool, cool, cool. Derek McKee said, salute to the kings and queens in the chat. Yes, big dog Willie, thank you, sir. I missed every hey, what happened to you, man? That was a really good fight last night. There was a one fight was kind of bumped though, man. But hey, let me know what's your thoughts on the fight last night in Devin Haney, KQKC. KQKC. You
Okay,
on mute?
I was laughing at her being big boss. I still got a black book with phone numbers in it. Yeah, that's OG way. Okay, what you were saying for that?
I was just saying, what was your take on the fight, man? And much love to my man D Parker, K Hove in the building. He said drop by to press the like. K Hob, KB Hob said Haney out there looking promising. I'm so glad Bison is getting excited again. Absolutely. And what's good to Rob? Yeah, let me know what you thought about last night.
Okay, now for now, I didn't see that. I watched the Trout and Heron fight.
Oh yeah,
Right?
well tell me about that because I didn't get to see those.
Okay, now Trout and Goucher, that fight was a give and take fight. Trout was looking fresh, he's looking young, he's looking good, but once he got out there, he was looking more older. And Goucher was hitting with straight rights. He couldn't do the southpaw pedigree of just straight boxing. He couldn't straight box like he did Hurd and Charlo. Goucher, he's getting better. He only been pro 7 years, and he's doing a great job, man. He's doing a good job, but it ended up in a draw because it was hitting down the pipe. Austin Trout, he did throw that left straight down the pipe. Goucher, it seems like he's not used to a southpaw yet. But that was a great fight though, and it ended up in a draw. And Heron, now I did a video on that, and it's uploading now as I speak. But Heron is he's an Olympian, he's a Marine. and they had all the festivities and everything for him on Top Rank, but he's not that guy like we thought he would be. With 2 losses on his belt, he's a southpaw, and he was trying, but he just and once he got landed the left hands, I think he got kind of comfortable. Then Ito started coming in. Wow, he was like an unorthodox fighter. He's more like a Deontay Wilder style. And then Heron couldn't figure out where the punches was coming from. And next thing you know, he was getting hit with them right hands, left and right. And Ito was coming along, but Harrington built up such a big lead that he got gassed out. Ito was gassed out, but he still was coming forward. Bo Mack is his coach, just like Terrence Crawford. But I think Heron didn't know who to believe, because he was sitting there listening to Terrence Crawford on the side coaching and Bo Mack in the corner coaching. So he was like looking at both people, don't know what to do, So once he stopped, since Ito started blocking them left going down the pipe, then he started holding. Then he started, working inside that phone booth, hitting each other in the ribs and the sternum, ribs, sternum. But Ito, if he had a little more time, I think he would have pulled it out. So, but
hey, man, time waits for no one. Yeah, you gotta do what you gotta do.
Yes,
hey,
sir.
Let me make sure. Hey, real quick. Let me ask you guys now. I'm gonna try to listen just to make sure. I think I fixed my mic problem. Yeah, that should be better, right? All right, let me know if that's cool.
Yeah, you sound good to me.
Yeah, I had like 3 things that it could have been. I had like 3 things it could have been. I had like all kind of crap. I got a new computer yesterday. I had like 3 things that it could have been. All right, cool. All right, man. So what's next, man? What do you think, Jamel Herring? What's that 130, man? So that's the third American champion. That's third American champion at 130 pounds.
Yeah, he won the WBO last night. Yeah, so he's a WBO champion now. He took it from Ito, So, but someone in the chat, no, I don't think Terrence Crawford was the second trainer. Cause Bo Heron, he had about 2 or 3 people in the corner with him. So no, Terrence Crawford was sitting out in the audience, and he kept standing up, walking to the ring, going back, sitting down, going back, sitting down. But everybody's not Terrence Crawford. Everybody can't fight like Earl Spence. Some people have to understand that. And another thing, I keep trying to tell everybody: look, the Floyd Mayweather era is over. Please understand that. What Floyd did, it won't be done, not no way soon. Floyd was there at the right time, right place when the heavyweight division wasn't really saying anything. Klitschko was reigning the heavyweight division for about 10 years. Then everybody started focusing on the smaller weights, which Floyd Mayweather stood out because he was obnoxious and he was, he was an asshole. So, of course, he filled seats and people didn't come down to see him win. People came there to see his ass lose, but he put butts in the seats. And that's what he did. And he got rich off of it. But that won't happen again, people. So people stop trying, fighters especially, trying to get bang for the buck. Fight your fight, work out like you can, like Virgil Hunter said. Amir Khan would not work out in between fights. Only when a fight is coming up, he will work out. If you want to do good in boxing, you want to make some money in boxing, you got to get your ass out there and work. You got to get out there and work when you don't have a fight. Like Gary Russell Jr., he won. He fought that Saturday, but he said, I'm going in the gym Monday just to get on the treadmill and just stay limber and help out the young fighters. So that's what you're supposed to do. But Harrington,
hey, we got speaking of obnoxious dudes strolling in at their leisure, making all the money. Blood Boxing's in the building.
Oh yeah, my man Blood. That's my guy.
Hey,
up, my
hey,
How y'all
let's
doing?
talk one at a time, man. Let's do the one at a time. Let's talk the one at a time. Let's Blood. What was your take on the fights last night, man?
Well, I didn't see the PBC fights yet, but I watched the DAZN
What PBC? What
card.
PBC fights?
I really enjoyed the fight card, man.
About Goucher and Trout.
Devin Haney, he looked really good in there, man. Talented young fighter. Okay. Hold on. Who was talking? Is that me or you?
You are.
Him? Okay. Yeah. As I was saying, I enjoyed the fights last night. Devin Haney, he looked great, man. I'm a little bit disappointed that fight wasn't for one of the other belt, which is the WBC belt. I heard that Lomachenko is going for that. Also, like to see Haney matched up with Lopez and the other young fighter Garcia. Get some of these guys matched up, man. Very good fight though. Michael Hunter, he looked good. He continues his introduction to the heavyweight division. There was another heavyweight on there too, a big guy who I saw score a first round knockout. I can't think of his name, but it was an interesting card, man. I enjoyed it, bro. I'll tell you that. Devin Haney, I'm a big supporter of his, man. I think that this guy has all the tools to be an excellent fighter. I like his foot movement. I like his lateral movement. In and out movement is phenomenal. His reflexes, he could fight right in front of you. He's one of those type of guys like Sweet Pea and Roy Jones. He's cut from that cloth of being able to fight right in front of his fighter because he has such quick reflexes and his head movement, man, is phenomenal.
I don't mean to interrupt, Blood, but I want to ask you a question.
These guys, so I enjoyed it, man.
I'm sorry, Blood. I don't want to interrupt, but I want to ask you a question. Now, Devin Haney, okay, I always say this, and a couple other brothers say this, that he need to grow into his man strength. Okay, now if that means that he need to grow up, or he need to sit down on his punches, or what do you actually think that means? Blood, what you think?
He's got to get his stuff together, man. I think because he's got a little bit of he's having some seems like he's having some
I think that he will get more powerful as time goes on.
Hey, Blood, can you come in and back? Can you come in and out again?
Yeah,
nah,
let me try. Let me try.
Yeah, back out and come back in, man. Back out and come back in. Yeah, man, we having some technical difficulties this morning. Bob, dang, hey KQKC, did you just drop a video, or am I still getting these dang on notifications? Like, dang, I keep getting a ton of notifications. But yeah, man,
I just dropped the video before you called me.
Okay, hey, yeah. So look, man, the man strength thing is. Let me answer that and then get into the comment section. Hit that mute though in between, because you hit right in the mic and my speakers are real loud. What's going on, CW channel? Damn. Let me say what's up to the people in the chat showed up. St. Cruz said it was also the beginning of social services, not too much streaming. I'm not sure what that means, St. Cruz. D. Parker, what's going on? Salute to Blood. The female fight fan was off the chain on the zone last night. Their best card by far. Yeah, man, it was new money. Absolutely, there was. That was absolutely the best DAZN card that I've seen. But I thought one of the fights were really good. I wasn't too big on you always saying Chanel, man. I'm sorry, man. Channel. My bad. I certainly don't mean anything by it. But Yeah, man. So yeah, I thought the card was good. I have to go back and watch I didn't realize it was a PBC card, man. That's a shame for me, but that's because my mind was just on that. My mind was on that Devin Haney. I think Devin Haney really does have the ability to be one of the best fighters, in boxing, man. I'm looking at him for that because I'm looking at, eventually hope there being, him coming head to head with like the Teofimo Lopez, and Teofimo Lopez, and what's his other boy name? Shakur Stevenson, and that whole group of people who came up along with Money Powell. Of course, Money Powell is up at 168. But that's why I was so into that fight, man, because I really do think Devin Haney's got the ability to be, he's got the ability to be a great fighter, man. Absolutely no doubt about it, man. He really does. And I was watching the fight. He got the Mayweather. He got. Oh yeah, exactly. Fans' perspective. Virgil Ortiz as well. Virgil Ortiz is 140. He was going from 147 down to 140. Virgil Ortiz, I think, is going to wind up, along with that Regis Prograis, Josh Taylor fight. Man, that Josh Taylor Regis Prograis is a fight that I'm really looking forward to too, man. I can't wait till they announce when that's on. But that's another really good DAZN card, man. That is okay, cool. I'm about to hit up Curtis Anderson real quick. Yeah, man, but it was a really good deal, man. Really good fight. But as far as that, like that pound, that man strength thing, wait, because Blood seemed like he got some dip. Are you back, Blood? Yeah, Blood is having them difficulties. What's going on? What's going on, Ron Finkley? He like that. The man strength is just cat getting older. These guys started at like 19 years old, 19, 20 years old. So, his man strength is literally like his, your body doesn't finish growing. Like physically, you don't reach your peak of strength for a man until you're like 22, 23 years old. So when a guy's like 17, I think he might have turned pro at 16, something like that, real early, 16, 17.
Yeah.
It was the same thing as that's the same time a lot of those guys turned pro because the Olympic age went up to 21. So since they either had to stay amateur for another 4 years and hope of making the Olympic team, or I don't know if it went up to 19 or if it went up to 21, but regardless, it moved up. So instead of those guys taking that hit, Ryan Garcia's like that too. Instead of those guys staying staying in the amateurs for longer, they went pro. So they went pro as still as kids, kind of like Ali was in the light heavyweight division. He turned pro at like 198 pounds. The cat's just not fully grown yet. What's going on, Brandon Taylor? Tyson, yeah, but see, you got all these kind of different situations, man. There are dudes that grow physically and are there when they're 17, 18 years old. There's guys that are full grown. Thank you, fans, for a second. We said it went up to 19, I believe. Yeah. Because 21 seemed a little long. But yeah, I knew that it moved up. And that's the reason a lot of these guys went pro, because they didn't want to have to wait 2-3 years, to screw around and not make the Olympic team and missed out on all that money. So that's the situation with Devin Haney. Shakur Stevenson actually was in the Olympics, and what's that guy, Robsy? The guy that he fought in the Olympics, that Cuban featherweight or Cuban bantamweight, is going pro under Top Rank 2. I'm looking forward to seeing him, man. I'm gonna see where's it, Rob? Somebody in the comment section.
Roberty. Yeah.
Roberty, yeah, man. If Roberty, we'll see what that dude looks like, man. Because we'll see if Bob Arum gives him the Lomachenko treatment, or whether he gets the Regendow treatment. So Stormy B, man, starting careers at artificial weights contributes to that as well. Yeah, man, there's a lot of these cats doing this weight draining and all that good stuff, man. All that nonsense, man. Blood is hungover. Nah, Blood ain't hungover. Blood living in this spot in Florida, man. He living in the damn Everglades, man, where he can't get any he don't get any very good reception. He's just bouncing up, backing in and backing out. But let me go real quick. Now let's move to was it Goshaw and Trout? Who else was on that card, KC? You know, you're on mute. You're on mute.
They're not known. They're not known fighters. So they was like young fighters, like round 6. They only had 6 rounds, and one round was round 10, and Goucher and them they was on the main event. So it wasn't really no one that's really known, but Trout and Goucher. But they all was pretty good fights. You know, the ones that I did see. You know, so but Harrington, that was a good fight there too. You know, but the main events was the ones that really stuck out. The other ones was just pretty much just in there pretty good. You know what? Another guy, Gary Antoine Russell.
Yeah, okay, that's another. Okay,
yeah, he's a good fighter, man. The guy is just like his brother. I think all 3 of them are great. You know, Gary Russell Jr. and Gary Antoine and a couple other people. What's going on, Curtis? Yes,
Hey,
sir.
KQ, what's up?
All right. So
hey, Kurt,
I think all of them pretty
we
good.
got an extremely special guest in the building, man. We got Curtis, the boxing god Anderson in here. What's good with you, Curtis?
What's going on with you, man? Good to be on the show, man. What's up, Fanon?
Shit, getting old and fat. Other than that, I'm good. Shit. Getting old and fat. Hey man, so what's your takes on the fights last night? Oh, I'm sorry. Finish with your point, QKC. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you. I cut you off.
Oh no, it's okay. Always good to see Curtis in the house. But I just was talking about the Russell brothers. That's all. You know, that whole family got a great pedigree, you know, amateur pedigree, and they all doing good. Antoine, Gary, and they have another younger brother coming up in the amateurs. So they all doing pretty good. That's all I was saying. That Antoine Russell, he fights real good. He's southpaw. All of them southpaws. So I'm thinking, is that on purpose or that's just the way the father trained them? I don't know. But the father's the trainer for all 3 of them. But that's about all. Go ahead, Kirk. What you think on it?
Oh man, I really enjoyed the fights. Fanon and KQ last night, man. Boxing is on the roll. 3 consecutive weekends. We got Joshua, but first things first. Devin Haney, it seems like the amateur residue is being wiped off his shoulders. He still moves unnecessarily, but he's starting to slow down on that. You know, you can see the athleticism and skills, which is a deadly concoction of a young fighter. His skills jump out at you. You know, you can see that. You know, I thought he moved too much early in his career. As he gets older, more experience, he's going to set down on his punches. I don't think he has a lot of power, but he's accurate. And if he lands a shot like he did last night, you know, will hurt anybody. So he looked real good. You know, he has a lot of upside. Him, Teofimo Lopez, you know, Jaron Ennis is my 3 top prospects coming up, you know. Man, it was a bunch of fights. The ladies unified was great. McCaskill and Sanchez, that was a war. That's one of the best ladies fights I've seen in a long time. That was on the zone and by far the best card. The heavyweight, I think you was talking about, his name was Herkovich, who scored the first round knockout. Michael Hunter scored the first round knockout. He looked really strong. You know, I was very surprised, you know. Then you had the PBC card for non. You had Gusha, you know, Geisha, however you want to pronounce it, versus Trout. It ended in a draw. You know, it wasn't fan friendly because both guys are boxers, you know, so their styles didn't really mesh. So I kind of figured it would be a draw. But there was an undercard fight. I don't even know this guy's first name. The African guy.
Oh yeah, that's Booker and the other guy, right?
No, the other fight, KQ, Earl Newman and versus what's the African guy name? That was a war. That was the fight. Right. That was the best fight on the card. You know, that was the best fight on the card, you know, and then you had Pendraza. He looked really good. Jose Pedraza. He looked like Wilfredo Benitez last night. You know, usually when Lomachenko fights somebody, they say their career is finished. But Jose Pedraza looked really good, man. I didn't know he can fight off the ropes like that. I said, man, this is reminiscence of a young Wilfredo Benitez. He scored the knockout because the guy he fought was reminiscent of Emmanuel Navarrete, you know, an obscure Mexican fighter who comes to the state, you know, with the knockout record. And I think it was 42-2 with 34 knockouts, long arm, a lot of length, and he schooled him. So Pedraza looked really good, you know. So I enjoyed all the fights, man. And before I pass it along, there's another fighter that's up and coming. He's really young. His name is Lorenzo Truck Simpson. He scored a scintillating first round knockout. This kid, Lorenzo Truck Simpson, is the goods.
Now was that fight card that was on what? Showtime, or was that the PBC card?
The PBC card was on Fox Sports 1.
God dang, man. I was just so stuck on the zone, man, and working on this, trying to get this equipment right, man. I miss all the good shit. But the good stuff about the Fox Sports 1 is that shit's gonna be that I should be able to see that again.
Yeah, be on today. Yeah.
That should air. That should be able to air pretty soon. Hey, Blood, you back? Blood.
He on mute.
Oh, what is this? Oh, what the
Hello?
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, just keep your picture off. So hopefully it won't take as much data. Blood.
Okay. Yeah, I'm back.
Yeah, just talk, man, because that way you use less data, you'll break up less.
Oh.
Yeah, it's tough on Blood today. I'm just gonna talk shit about him then. Blood. That's what I need to do. Blood scared. I was going to debate Blood. See, you know he's faking, right? I was going to debate Blood on, you know, who was the best middleweight in between 1982 and 1988, but he didn't want that smoke. So now he faking like his shit don't work. We know you scared, Blood. We know you're scared. Say something, Blood. Say something. Yeah, Blood don't want no smoke with me this morning. All right, man. Let's change the question, man. I want to get your thought on this, Curtis, because this is the first time. I think it might be the first time you've ever been on the channel. Maybe when you
No, I've been on. This is my third time. This is my first time on OG Boxing Talk.
Oh, okay, cool. What's your take on this? What's your take on where do you think boxing is today? Just your feel about the talent of boxing today versus the talent of boxing. Well, better yet, this is an OG question right here. What do you think about the talent level of the current crop of welterweights versus the Trinidad De La Hoya, Mosley, Forrest, Mayorga, that group of heavyweights and welterweights? Because I was asking the question, man, because I was watching a replay of the Oscar De La Hoya versus Ike Cortez. And I was thinking, now maybe it's because I saw the fight a little bit further on down. You know, it's like when it was round 12, as the round I watched, when they was, you know, De La Hoya was bombs away with that left hook on Cortez. But Cortez fought his way off the rings, off the ropes. You know, fight winds up going. I remember there being some controversy about it. Some people thought that Ike Cortez won the fight. You know, I thought that De La Hoya had won the fight. Obviously, De La Hoya got the decision. But I was looking at De La Hoya. I was like, man, how would De La Hoya really match up with Spence and Crawford? And I think it was more deep then. If I recall, I believe it was more deep then. Even though we got some younger welterweights that haven't really started kicking off, like Jaron Ennis. I think Josh Taylor and Prograis are probably going to wind up there. But what's your thoughts on that, man? The comparison of welterweights between those two generations.
Oh, okay. Well, first, today's welterweights. Obviously, it's Crawford 1A, Spence 1B. I feel that Crawford is the best welterweight in the world. There's still unfinished business between the two. And then it drops off a little bit. You have Keith Thurman, who I thought was going to be the goods when he knocked out Soto Kara's and his Chavez, and then his knockouts just stopped. Then you have Danny Garcia, who's a really decent fighter, looked good last time out. It seemed like they was a little apprehensive of Spence. You have the hardworking, linebacker and Sean Porter. He gives it all he's got. He gives it all he's got. He's not the most talented guy, but he works hard. But clearly it's Crawford and Spence. Is 1 and 2. But the era we talking about, the 90s, the Mosleys and the Trinidad and De La Hoyas, man. And there was another guy named Jose Luis Lopez, who was a surfer from California that gave a lot of people steer clear from him. He didn't really love boxing. You had Ike Corte. The 90s welterweights, Fanon and KC, were a lot better than today's welterweights. Now, Crawford and Spence will give them all they got. I don't like Crawford and Trinidad because Crawford get hits with straight right hands over and over, and people forget Trinidad was a phenomenal puncher at welterweight. You had welterweights like Obakar and Larry Barnes and Anthony Stevens that knocked down Trinidad. They wasn't really A-level, but they were hard-nosed professionals. And sometimes we forget about fighters like J-Rock and Tony Harrison. Them guys can fight. And Austin Trout, them guys can fight because they all scored upset victories in their careers. But, we're talking about the welterweights. The welterweights of the 90s would be highly successful against today's welterweights, but Spence and Crawford will hold their own, but they will catch L's because Mosley, when he came up in 2 divisions from lightweight to welterweight, he was really good. Sometimes people forget how great Mosley was. His hand speed, his power. So, what'd you say, Fanon?
I'm sorry, man. I got a no cutoff policy, man. I'm sorry. Go ahead, finish up. I don't mean to cut you off. That's
okay. I'll finish up. I'm going a little bit too long, but 90 welterweights would be highly successful against today's welterweights, but the two obviously front runners, Crawford and Spence, will hold their own.
Man, when you brought up Shane Mosley at 135. Man, I'm telling you, Shane Mosley at 135, I don't think Vasyl Lomachenko goes. I don't think he goes 5 rounds. I think that is Vasyl Lomachenko versus Shane Mosley at 135 pounds is a death sentence for Vasyl Lomachenko. Go ahead.
I'm going to say this real quick about Mosley as a lightweight. I believe he was 32-0 with 30 knockouts. He knocked out a friend of mine, Adrian Stone. He was a devastating body puncher. I remember when he fought John Molina, and after the fight, post-fight interview, John Molina said in Spanish, "Next time I want to fight somebody human," because he broke Molina down to the body. He was one of the best body punchers at lightweight. He was just devastating, a knockout artist who can box.
Hey, Marcus the Villain said Mosley was on that juice though. Hey man, shit, ain't nothing to keep me from believing that Vasyl is to the Vasily Lomachenko ain't. It just, hey man, if you ain't got caught, you ain't got caught. But I'm not putting. I think it's fair to compare these dudes, even if you think some later point in their career they was on some juice, because a lot of these guys are juicing, man. So I mean, it is what it is. But the thing where I'm telling you, I think Shane Mosley gonna hurt that his speed. His speed was, but at 135 is bananas. And he's a very, very smart fighter, man. He's the last. That dude was man, well, how can I say this, man? He was about this close to ending all of that Floyd Mayweather Jr. stuff. That was the most dangerous fight that Floyd Mayweather Jr. had since Jose Luis Castillo. That when he buckled him twice like that, and the way I'm telling you, the way that he did it, I saw it, man. Because I don't know if you remember this, Curtis and KQKC, how Floyd usually starts his fights off with that jab, with that real stiff jab to the pit of the stomach. Man, when he fought Shane Mosley, that's how Shane Mosley started the fight. He just immediately took Floyd's opening move away from him, and Floyd was like, "Ha!" and he smiled, and that little bit of relax, he relaxed him, and wow, telling you, man, Shane. If Shane didn't run, Shane ran into Vernon Forrest, and Vernon Forrest was the Viper. Viper is a bad matchup for him because he's so long. He's got that real nice jab. I think that was just a styles make fight type of thing with Vernon Forrest and Shane Mosley. But Shane Mosley at 135 pounds. That's why, man, I just can't really get with these cats that say things like, this is the best fighter since, whenever. Because styles do make fights, but that style for Lomachenko, I think Lomachenko gets stopped because he likes to throw those quick-handed shots, but he's not, not sitting down. He'll eventually sit down on it. But I think Shane Mosley at lightweight was faster than him with full-fledged bombs. So it's kind of like a real good version of Tank Davis, but better. Like Tank, but better. Is what I kind of think about with Lomachenko back then. But KQKC, whenever you're gonna have that many guys in a family fighting a southpaw, talking about the Russells, they're getting trained that way. Similar to the way that the Cuban school of boxing had so many southpaws. They're gonna give you that awkward look, and it's not coincidental that the Ukrainian Olympic team started doing that same thing where you got Vasyl Lomachenko with southpaw. You've got I believe Usyk's is southpaw too. And Wojcik is probably a southpaw too. They're they put those guys in there just like Oscar De La Hoya was Oscar De La Hoya is the opposite, I think. I think he's a natural southpaw that they switched to orthodox so that he could have his strong right hand out in front, which is just the thought that you want your strong hand closest to the guy that you're fighting. So yeah, I'm pretty sure what that was, man. So KQKC, man, let me ask you a question, if you don't mind.
Sure.
Yeah. Who was your favorite? Well, no, I'm going to give you the same question. The same question Curtis Anderson just answered.
Okay. Well, you know what? I would have to say the welterweights back in earlier time than now, like Tito Trinidad. He fought tall. He can hit. And Shane Mosley, yes, Mosley was a dog. And the way he hit Floyd Mayweather with that straight right, and he buckled him, then he buckled him again. Shane was, but he didn't know how to adjust. He didn't know how to adjust when Floyd adjusts. Then he started looking his age. Floyd trying to make him look kind of bad. But Tito Trinidad, Oscar De La Hoya, those was fighters. See, fighters back then, they gave it their all in that ring. They didn't wait and wait to see what's the money right. They weren't waiting for none of that. They would, let's make the fight, let's sign it, and let's go in there and we fight. And they didn't wait around and trying to collect data and this and that. They did what they did best, and that's fight. And they fought. I remember it was Tito Trinidad and I think Oscar De La Hoya, actually. I think they fought. And now that's a fight there, and those welterweights back then are not like the welterweights today. Now, Terrence Crawford and Earl Spence, I still don't think they can compete with those guys back then. Those guys were bigger, welterweights, stronger, and they can last 12 rounds, 13 rounds. It doesn't matter. They go at it, and they're not gonna pussyfoot around. They're gonna hit you with everything they got from the first round all the way to the 12th round. They the type they're not built like these fighters today. Today, these fighters, they might fight once, twice a year. Them guys, they'll fight any chance they get, and it wasn't all about money to them. It was all about bragging rights to them. It wasn't really about history or legacy. Tito Trinidad, he still looked good. I saw him about a month ago at a fight. He still looked good. These guys, they put it all on the line. Tito Trinidad, if you look at him, you'll say, okay, he's tall, he's thin, he's skinny. He can't box, but yes, he can. He hit just like Julian Jackson. Julian Jackson, he don't look like he was able to hit, but he would not. He wouldn't hit you. He'll hit through you. That's how Julian Jackson used to hit, and he wasn't no joke. None of them welterweights was no joke. So now, but as far as, let's say, if I go to the heavyweight, I would say we got some good up and coming heavyweights. They need some work, but they like Effie Ajaba, he should be a good heavyweight once he get his fundamentals and everything together. George Joyce, same way. So I mean, we got some good heavyweights coming out now, but back then the welterweights and the heavyweights, they wasn't better than the ones we got today. The ones we got today, they think about more of luxury things than say get in there and do their job. Back then that was boxing. That was pure boxing. And that's what that's why I loved about Tito Trinidad and all the Puerto Rican fighters, the Cuban fighters. They call them fincas. That's the farm, and none but the top Cuban fighters go there. And I'm talking about they box day and night. 3 o'clock in the morning, they boxing. 4 o'clock in the morning, they boxing. They teaching them every different type of way they fight. Look at Estrelana Laura, okay? I'm not gonna be long. Look at Estrelana Laura. He was taught to fight the Cuban style way, but when he fought Jared Hurd, he didn't fight that way. He stood there.
Hey, QKC.
Yeah,
we on you. I think we at 154 now. Let's stay down. Let's get it to 150, 47.
Okay. I'm sorry.
You're talking about 154. You changed subjects on me.
Okay, I'm sorry. Okay. 147. Okay. Now 147. Okay, Trinidad. Okay, Floyd Mayweather. I'm gonna use him for example. He's the 90s welterweight. Okay, Floyd is a defensive fighter. He's a counterpuncher. Okay, he could not withstand the welterweights back then. Because it doesn't matter if you're a counterpuncher, a very good defensive fighter, but when you have long arms, a long reach, and you're fighting tall, there's nothing Floyd can do about that but take the beating, take the hits. So no, the welterweights back then, they can't compete with the welterweights today. I just can't see that. The welterweights today, they're a little smaller, they're a little faster, but the welterweights back then, it was bigger, heavy, and hit harder. Just simple like that.
Yeah. Oh, skills from New Orleans said unfair comparison to say Errol Spence. Errol and or current welterweights couldn't compete or last with Golden Boy era. We never know the true outcome until the men meet in the ring. First, let me tell you something. Skills from New Orleans. Golden Boy never had no damn era. Okay. Yeah, I take deep offense to the fact that you say that Oscar De La Hoya had an era. Hell no, Oscar De La Hoya didn't have an era. He was what attracted people and made it a big money division. But Tito, I think there was a lot of parity in that 147 pound division. He just was kind of like the media. He was the big media dude, man. You actually got to see some really good fights back then. But I agree with you. Now it's just kind of you're messing with you a little bit. But I agree with you in this regard, man, because those guys, KQKC, those things, those guys are all shit, man. They're 147 pounds. They're all about the same size. Oscar De La Hoya, you came up from 135. Floyd, I think Errol Spence Jr. is bigger than everybody but Tito. I think he's bigger than everybody but Tito. Because he started at 152, I do believe was the weight what he was waiting at, what he weighed, and then he started boxing, lost a couple pounds, fought at 147. You have Shane Mosley, who came up from 135. You have Oscar De La Hoya came up from 135 as well. He might have came up from 130 actually. Though
130.
Yeah, he came up from 130. Then I don't know where Vernon Forrest might have always been at one, but I don't give Vernon Forrest much of a chance to beat Spence because he had that. Who was the guy that beat Forrest? Is it Mayorga?
Mayorga, yes.
Yeah, he would be he'd be hell. There ain't no way on this planet that Mayorga's beating Terrence Crawford or Errol Spence or Keith. I don't think he's gonna beat Sean Porter. Now, of all the guys, man, that I think will give those dudes some problems, I think Sean Porter is one of the more underrated welterweights, man. I mean, I don't think at any point in time that he's the that he's the best welterweight, but man, this guy is giving everybody some of the business, man. I mean, he put a good fight up with Keith Thurman. He beat Danny Garcia. He beat Ugas. I thought he put up a good fight. I got to go back and watch Kell Brook because people keep telling me that Kell Brook, that it was a good fight with Kell Brook. I just remember Kell Brook tying him up, pushing him off, and hitting him with a 1-2. That's what I remember. So maybe I need to, go back and look at that again. But to see if that fight was closer than I originally thought. But I mean, Sean Porter's a hell of a fighter, man. And even that fight with Errol Spence Jr., man, that's going to be the toughest fight for Errol since Kell Brook for sure. But I don't see it being as tough. I don't see it as being as tough as Kell Brook just because of the dynamics around the fight. But the one heavyweight to me, the one welterweight from the 90s to me that, man, is my favorite welterweight. Man, he might be my favorite welterweight ever is Tito. But Tito was kind of basic, even though he was.
Mine too.
Yeah, he's just kind of basic, man. You know what I mean? Like very jab, right hand, seek and destroy type of dude. I think that him and Errol Spence would be a hell of a fight. But I think Errol might be able to get him, man, because of that, because of his quickness of head movement and his body attack. So I think that there are guys that right now, I think, like Curtis Anderson said, that really have. Muhammad Abdullah said Tito had illegal hand wraps a lot. Hey man, if you don't get caught, you don't get caught. I can't. I think some of these guys might have a lot of illegal stuff going on, but I can't. I don't know. Ain't nobody giving Paul Williams any credit, right? Because he fought Margarito at 147 pounds when that dude had bricks in his head, had plaster of Paris and all kind of cinder blocks and crap in his gloves. So ain't nobody giving him any credit for that. So I'm not going to take it away from somebody just because of, rumors that he had bad hand wraps. He didn't, Oscar De La Hoya is, man, they know what they were doing in that corner. And Oscar De La Hoya ran, man, that was a disgraceful moment, in my opinion, for Oscar De La Hoya. All that running in that second half of the fight, man. He said, how a pre-broken eye sock Brook doing that era? Kell Brook, I think well. Kell Brook is a hell of a fighter, man. I'll pass that to Curtis Anderson, man. What do you think about how Brook would do in the 90s?
He would do all right. Kell Brook was a good fighter. The first 6 rounds, he was beating Spence in my book. Spence made the adjustment. Kell Brook would have benefited from an American trainer. I always thought that. He had talent. He beat a tough Sean Porter. He tied Porter up, and that's what you do to an aggressive fighter to stop their momentum. Porter likes to come forward and brawl, so he would throw a jab, excuse me, have Porter run into the jab, throw a quick 1-2, and then he'll tie up, Porter. So that was a game plan, but if Kell Brook was to come to America and have gotten an American trainer, he would have been even better. Same thing with Lennox Lewis did, and there's no knock on England trainers because I was always a Mickey Duff fan. He's like the ambassador of England trainers and England boxing. But Kell Brook would have benefited. from an American trainer. He's a big welterweight, had good boxing skills, good power. He just made a blunder by fighting Triple G, and he was never the same. And then Earl Spence, broke the other eye socket, and he done seen his best days. He might get the Terrence Crawford fight for what I'm hearing they're negotiating, but good fighter. He would have held his own. Kell Brook is not a walkover.
Yeah, no doubt. Kenneth Lloyd said Brook is a big 147, stops Judah, Caldas Baldomir, Andre Berto, Mosley. It's the funny thing to me, man. I don't consider Judah a welterweight. I think Zab Judah's a 140-pounder. I wish he would have been disciplined enough to stay. If there's any way he could have fought at 135 pounds, man. Judah to me is a little welterweight. I don't think anybody's stopping Carlos unless somebody did stop Carlos Baldomir and I'm missing it. I think it's hell to stop Carlos Baldomir. That was a big ass dude, man, who with a hellified chin. Andre Berto, same thing, man. Andre Berto to me reminds me of, and if somebody knows Andre Berto that's going to hear me say this, man, no disrespect to my Haitian brother, but look, man, he reminds me of that little ass dude down there at 118 pounds from what's that dude's name, man? Dude just got beat by Navarrete.
Dog Bay.
Yeah, Dog Bay. One of the muscle bound, who's a guy that because he's so heavily muscled, weighs up a weight class from where he should fight. Andre Berto to me, man, is just built like has the frame of a lightweight, but he's got the musculature and the body weight to have him be fighting at 147 pounds, so he's always at a length and like frame size disadvantage. Same thing with Jeff Lacey, man. I remember after the Jeff Lacey, I went to I think it might have been the Roy Jones Jr. fight. I think it was the Roy Jones Jr. Ruiz fight. I was getting onto a plane, and Winky Wright and Jeff Lacey were like ahead of me in the baggage claim. And I looked at Winky Wright and I looked at Jeff Lacey and I was like, damn, Winky Wright looked bigger than Jeff Lacey does. Like the height, portion of it, right? Not the musculatureness. That's when these cats were talking about, like when Calzaghe was fighting Lacey. I was like, man, get out of here, man. It's Lacey. Lacey ain't he's not in the same size frame as Calzaghe was, man. Mm-hmm. So anyway, man, it's that type of fighter that, like, I really always think, man, it's like, God, dog, I know your strength is your strength, but as it puts that extra weight on you and pushes you up a weight class, I think eventually that winds up being a disadvantage. Keith Lloyd says Kell Brook versus Paul Williams. Oh man, jeez, man.
Well, Kell Brook, he like you're right. He's a beast. And now Kell Brook went up to 154, and I don't mean to butt in on you, but I was just saying that he is a beast. But Paul Williams, I don't think Paul Williams can handle Kell Brook. I really don't. The only thing that's funny about Kell Brook is that he went up to 154, then he came back down, and it seemed like he was too small for 154 and too big for 147. That what makes it so funny to me. It's like he caught in between, and Amir Khan, he messed up that fight by fighting Crawford. Then when you get your eye socket torn, whatever. Now, what I hear that when you get it repaired, it's just like you never got it torn. You still could get hit there, everything, and don't feel anything. So, but I don't mean to interrupt. I just was saying about Paul Williams, and I think Paul Williams, he was a good southpaw, but Kell Brook was just stocky, and he can fight real good, at good fundamentals. So that's all I had.
Hey man, what's your thoughts on it, Curtis?
Oh man, this is a tough matchup. Every time I'm stomped because I play the fights in my head. Paul Williams was a tall, lanky welterweight, man, who threw a lot of punches. It's always hard to beat those kind of guys, but he did lose to Katana, at that welterweight, Maravella Martinez, Sergio Martinez, I should say, beat him, but it's a different weight class. But the Brook before the Golovkin fight, I would give Brook a slight edge. I think Brook had a very good jab. He's a big welterweight. It'll be a tough fight, but I like Brook by close but unanimous decision, 115, 113 across the board, 7 rounds to 5. It will be a very competitive fight.
You say you got Brook over?
Yes.
Yeah, Paul get touched a lot, man, if I remember right. Paul get touched. The thing about Paul Williams, man, is Paul Williams was super, super busy, man. He threw an incredible amount of punches, man. So I think that Kell Brook is technically the more sound fighter, and Paul Williams volume punching. It would be he could get a lot of rounds out of there just because he's touching the cat so much. But I think that's hard. It's hard for me to see him beat Kell Brook, man. It's hard. Just like when people talk about him and Floyd, it's hard for me to see Paul Williams beat Floyd, man. And though I don't put Floyd up there with I don't think Floyd's a great welterweight. Let me put it this way: he's a great fighter who's such an excellent fighter that he fought his way up through the welterweight division. But I never saw Floyd as somebody who was I don't see him like a Sugar Ray Leonard at welterweight or a Thomas Hearns at welterweight, because that's just not his weight class, man. But still, even with that said, he is obviously a great fighter, man. And I think Paul Williams would have had some serious trouble beating Floyd Mayweather, man. But that was one of the more sad things that happened in boxing, man. And by the way, the person that asked what happened to Vernon Forrest, Vernon Forrest was shot in Atlanta. I don't know if it was a robbery or what it was, but he was shot. And then Paul Williams had that terrible car accident, man. After that, what was that fight? Was it Sergio Martinez that he had fought? I think it was after he lost.
Yeah, I believe I forget off the top of my head. I believe it was Martinez. I can be wrong. But just to touch on Vernon Forrest real quick for Nan, they actually has this murder on film. Camera. You could see him being robbed, and they took it down after a while. You see Vernon Forrest get out the car. He runs up the street with his gun in his hand, and he followed the guys into an apartment building, went in the hallway, and you could just see him fall. As soon as he came in the hallway, a shot was fired. Very sad, man, and senseless murder of a very good fighter. But this, talking about Vernon Forrest real quick, Vernon Forrest didn't love boxing. He liked boxing, but he got up for Shane Mosley. Here's a guy that dedicated his time to helping retarded kids. That was Vernon Forrest, man. So I got a soft spot for Vernon Forrest.
Yeah, Vernon Forrest, yeah, man. Rest in peace. Hey, QKC, man, let me ask you a question. We're gonna switch it to this Joshua thing. Okay. Man, when do you think this fight's gonna happen, man, with Joshua and Wilder? What's your take on it?
Next year, I think he's gonna go ahead on and get everything signed. I really believe it's gonna be a 2-fight deal. And because see, the pressure now it's on Joshua. The pressure is not on Deontay Wilder now. The pressure is on Joshua, because now everybody looking, even the UK people, the ones that subscribe to me, everybody's looking at Joshua like, when are you going to fight this guy? Are you scared of this guy because he's knocked out so many people? Are you scared of this guy because what he did to Brazil? And so now all that's going through his head, and which he need to focus on what's in front of him first. But now he really, really want to fight him, and I believe him. I really believe him. And Deontay Wilder, he said he believe him. you know. So, but the thing is, what we're gonna be the split. You know, I think that was gonna hold it up. Now, sure, the fight can go on, no problem if they had the numbers right, but they have to get these numbers right. You know, and I think Deontay Wilder and Eddie Hearn, he had to admit that his stock has risen. You know, so even though he only has one belt, I still would consider him, if you consider A or B side, whatever. He is the A side actually, because he's more popular now, making more appearances now, and doing more things, more active than Anthony Joshua. And I don't think he's gonna do well with that fight here with Ruiz. But we'll see. But I think it's going to happen in 2020. Matter of fact, I think a couple of good fights going to happen in 2020. So that's what I believe.
What are the good fights you think will happen in 2020?
I think Earl Spence and Terrence Crawford is going to fight next year too. I really believe that. Yes, sir. Yep, I really believe they're going to fight. Now, when in 2020, I don't know, but I believe they're going to fight. They're going to get it over with and get it done. They're not going to wait 5 years and let it marinate or whatever. I think they just want to get it done. Terrence Crawford eager to get it done too. So I think it's going to happen.
Tony Perry said AJ's the Z side, but still 50-50, man. That shit is hilarious, man. What's your take on, man? What's your take on that, Curtis Anderson?
Oh man, I think we're on the cusp of a mini golden era. I think 2020 you're going to see Spence and Crawford. You're going to see Wilder and Joshua. It'll be a shame because there's too much money to pass up. Boxing always was like this. They stretch the fight out. They have the fans cringing and going crazy, and then the fight is made. And there's a lot of business involved, so these fights has to happen. And they will happen. I'm confident that they'll get the job done with Spence and Crawford. You're going to see that next year, and next summer you're going to see Joshua and Wilder. So I'm confident. And like I said, in the last 3 weeks, boxing's been very good, man. You had J-Rock and Hurd. You have the scintillating knockout, Wilder in Brazil. You had some very good fights on last night. I hope you guys saw them. You got Joshua, this week. You got 3 more weeks of great fights, leading up to the Charlo and Harrison. You're going to have Canelo versus Charlo or Canelo Andrade, because Canelo wants all the belts. So don't be surprised if Andrade wins, he fights Andrade either this year or next year. So 2020 for Non and KQ, we're on the cusp of a lot of great fights.
Man, I think we've seen a ghost up in this mug. Sanctus Deuce. What is going on, man? He said, what title did Haney win to be called an American champion? No, sir, that would be Jermell Harrington, man. That Jermell Herring is an American champ, and that would be the 130-pound IBO title, dog. Okay? Don't try to catch me slipping, dog. We got another American champ. His name is Jermell Harrington. Damn, I'm killing his name. That's the fight I'm talking about, dog. Don't be trying to catch me slipping. I know what I'm talking about. We got another one, Herring. I think that puts us at around 18. We got 18. Let me walk through all these champions we got. This to you UK dudes. I like to be fair. Let's go through these champions we got up here in America. We got Deontay Wilder at heavyweight. I don't think we have a cruiserweight. A light heavyweight. Do we have a light heavyweight? I don't think we have. Is Marcus Brown's not a champion yet?
I don't think he is, no. Off the top of my head.
So we'll go to 160. We don't have cruiserweight because that's all lapped up. Then 168, we've got 2. We got Andre Durrell. And we have
Caleb Plant.
Caleb Plant, and we got David Benavidez. Oh no, and I know that's 2. Those 2, right? Caleb Plant and Andre Durrell. And then at 160, we just lost one with Danny, but we have
Demetrius Andrade.
Andrade. We got all 4. So that's 5. We got all 4 at welterweight. So that's 9. Then we've got the WBA 140-pound guy and the WBC. So that's 11. At 135, I don't think we have one at 135. At 140, we've got 3. At 140, right?
Yeah, I think it's 3.
16. Then we have down there we got Gary Russell Jr. and Leo Santa Cruz below that. So that's 17. And I think Nonito Donaire, I don't think he actually goes as an American, does he?
No.
He rides with the Philippines. So we're like 17, 18 of these champs. I know I'm probably missing somebody too. I don't think we have anybody lower than that, though. I don't think we have anybody lower than one. There's nobody at 118.
I'm thinking Danny Roman. I'm not sure if he rides with us or not. You know, an American champion. I gotta check that, Danny Roman. You know, but we're somewhere in the ballpark for now.
Yeah, it usually stays somewhere around. It usually stays somewhere around there. And I'm not trying to do like Blood got a spreadsheet. I'm not doing the WBC regulars. I'm not doing the IBOs. I'm not doing any of that stuff. I'm not doing silver belts. I'm not doing that. But if you added that to the equation, then it gets kind of ridiculous, man. So American boxing is pretty strong right now across the board, man. Let me ask you a question, Curtis. This pound for pound stuff, man. What's your take on this kid? Got on my nerves this week, man. I can't lie, man. They really got on my nerves. Anonymous guy said I think it's 19 current U.S. champions, man. That's a lot, man. But what's your take on this Monster Inoue?
He's a good fighter, but put him up top 5 pound for pound. I vehemently disagree. He has more work to do. They tried this with Chocolatito. It's harder for guys in a lot of weight divisions because there's not a lot of Americans there. You know, you can judge a fighter how good he fights when he fight American fighters. That's why I always say Roberto Duran was great, you know, but not to stray too far. People's getting overlooked by the height. You know, he's a hard puncher, but he leaves himself open. I broke him down already. I like to study fighters. You know, he like to throw the left hook. He leaves his chin exposed. He's not top 5. He's not the best fighter in the world. That's just insane. You know, whoever said that. You know, he's somewhere between 9 and 10, if that. You know, he has more work to do. Nonito Donaire has experience and has a good left hook. Donaire can run him to his left hook because he depends on his power. If you box this guy, you know, you can beat him. And I like Inoue. I'm a big fan. I want to see him fight Donaire and Neri. Neri is a very good fighter from Mexico. If he beat those two, then I'll consider. But people going overboard for Inoue, man, because he's this sensation they never seen before, you know, and he has this meteoric rise. So they kind of going overboard, but he's like 9, 10, or maybe 11, not even in the top 10, not the top 5.
What's your thoughts, KQKC? Oh, before you do, I'm sorry. Hey, my man, much love in that super chat, John Grant. Appreciate you, sir. What's your thoughts on Inoue? Is it Inoue or Inoue?
I thought it was Inoue.
I know one is man, Inoue is Inoue or Inoue is Inoue, I think. Or backwards. I don't know. Whatever. Go ahead. What's your thoughts on it? What's going on at the Rage?
Well, you know what? I kind of agree with Curtis, you know, because I think we jumping the gun just a little bit because, you know, we haven't seen everything about him yet, you know, facing real good adversity, you know, and there's a lot of things we could see better from him besides just punching hard, you know, and that's what I think, you know, and I think we tend to do that a lot with a lot of fighters. They are the one. And, you know, the HBO was good at that. Like he said, Chocolatito, you know, soon he get knocked out. HBO ran away from him like he had a disease, you know. Didn't even, you know, I don't even know what happened to him myself right now. But But let's not, let's let's just play this hand out and let's see how he does. He does real good. So I mean, I really appreciate that. Oh, that's Ivy Webb. I'm talking to myself. Yeah. So, but anyway, he's a good fighter, and I think he's a good up and coming fighter. Oh, he gonna make a name for himself, no doubt about that. But we got to test him. We got to see how he does in adversity. We got to see how he does against real competition. So that's what I'm looking at. So
hey man, Ivy Webb, much love in that super chat. Say good morning, Kings. Thank the Lord for seeing another day. Yes, sir. Thank you. A great show to wake up to. Sending some love to Fanon, KQKC, and Curtis Anderson. Curtis Anderson fights on World Breaking Fighter, but I know what you meant. And much love out there to World Breaker Fighting too. If you're not subscribed, subscribe to that channel so you can check out KQ. You can check out Curtis Anderson and World Breaker Fighting. What time you guys usually do your show? Curtis?
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought I was on mute. I wasn't. We come on Monday through Fridays, 2:30 Eastern time. And I also have a show called Kurt Sugar versus the World. I'm gonna start doing the more at night. Sometimes I do the afternoon edition. I also have another show Saturday morning, 11 o'clock. It's Three Wise Men of Boxing. That's me, Stormy B Man, and Scrapbook Boxing. I'm just glad to be on the platform talking, seeing all the channels prosper, man. This is a great thing because we kind of monopolize the whole YouTube. And, some people are a little salty about that.
Hey, man, you know what they can do? They can get these salty ends and give it whatever, dog. That's just life. Hey, man, you got this good boxing talk, man. And if people don't know, man, look, Curtis Anderson is... for right now, for not much longer though, one of the best boxing historians on YouTube. But I'm studying hard, and I'm glad I got you here, Curtis, because I'm gonna catch your ass. Yes, I am. I'm gonna catch you. And look what I got here, dog. I see I got my Black Genesis, which is
wow.
History of Bare Knuckle. Man, I got my Boxianas in the other room. And after I get done reading these, I'm probably going to, I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do with them. I might auction them off or something. But if you guys really love boxing, dog, I'm telling you, this book, Black Genesis by Kevin Smith, is a very good book. It's the history of the Black prize fighter from 1760 to 1870. And then there's this book called Boxiana, which is pretty much everything that there is about, that is known about boxing between 1760 and, the history of boxing. Between 1760 and say the real beginning of American boxing is all in this big thick tome called Boxiana, which was written by Pierce Egan. So that book right there, really, man, is so enlightening, man, because just like Curtis Anderson said, there's so many things that are happening today that it's the same stuff happening then. The same amount, ridiculous amount of money that people are making for boxing, they were making that money there. There's this cat, and let me try to remember what his name was because I don't have it in. The first real John Jackson, I think, is the name of the guy who was the first guy that made. I think they said he made was it 5,000 pounds or something like that, fighting in over 6 fights. But remember, these are bare knuckle fights. So these guys' whole careers were 16, 17 fights. You can't bare knuckles. You can't take the wear and tear those guys were taking in fights is much more severe. So they couldn't take it. But they were anyway, this guy made the equivalent of $1 million back in the late 1790s. Going around being, having their fights be seen by kings and by dukes and all that good stuff, man. So you get through that, and then the black fighters that were in the United States, there really wasn't fighting in the United States, but they eventually moved where they had these slaves that would work, ex-slaves that were working on, that would escape and get on boats, right? And would be merchant marines, they would go to Europe, and then they would fight like Tom Melanois. So it's really, really good stuff, man. But I'm going from 1790 to 1800 so that I can talk about shit that Curtis Anderson doesn't know. And if you know, I hate you for it. But you got on. I say Gerald Skirr said, "Don't do it for now. Don't challenge Kurt Sugar." Nah, man. I know. See, there's hard work and then there's talent, right? I can work hard and try to remember, but Kurt is like got this. Lawrence Williams is like that too. Kurt Anderson's like that. Lawrence Williams is like that. Blood boxing. Say again.
Blood.
Yeah, blood's like
Scrapbook boxing.
Scrapbook boxing is just like the ultimate boxing nerd. That's a dog. That dude looking at scraps, and you can tell he loves the picture. Like, this is the most incredible fighter. We're talking about Harry Greb, Zulu back in South. It's an amazing fighter, man. If y'all ain't subscribed to Scrapbook Boxing, if you're not subscribed to World Breaker Fighting so that you can get World Breaker Fighting and the historian that he has on his channel, Curtis Anderson, man, you guys are missing out. And my thing is that's the most important people in this YouTube boxing conversation, because it's the memory. You know what I mean? It's the memory of the real, like the people that actually can tell you over time what's happening. You get a lot of people get a lot of subscribers. They get a lot of immediate feedback on something that happened today. But remember the stuff that you're having fun with today and enjoying today, 10 years from now, it's going to be with guys like Scrapbook Boxing and Curtis Anderson and Blood Boxing they'll be the ones still talking about it. And you can go back to them and reminisce with them about the fights that you saw when you were 22, 23 years old. Hopefully some of you AJ fans will eventually, your love and appreciation for his biceps and his pectorals will eventually transition you into really loving the sport of boxing, becoming that, hardcore, fan base. And man, you don't get any more hardcore than guys that will talk about, like what Blood said before Blood had his technical issues. Blood said that he hasn't been really paying attention to modern day boxing since like 2005. But he talks about boxing every day. That is something that really shows you somebody that really has a love and a real understanding and appreciation for the great sport of boxing. So I just wanted to say that because I wanted to tell you how very honored I am that Curtis Anderson came on my channel. And I'm also going to whoop his ass in his history. I'm going to do it. You better damn believe it, dog.
Hey, I just want to say something. Thanks for the accolades for man. We need channel like yours, because boxing, but you come from a lawyer perspective. It's a very different type of boxing channel. When I got on YouTube a year ago, you was the first channel I came to, and you told me about Marlo's Corner. I was on there for a little while. Then I came to World Breaker, but this is my third time being on the channel. And KQ, KC, all the channels. I'm happy that we can, talk as brothers. We don't always agree, but that's natural, the evil that men do. But we have monopolized boxing, and I never thought in a million years, you could just be in your pajamas or shorts and walk around the house and talk to people around the world. But I'm still learning. I mean, I haven't studied since the early 90s. I try to remember stuff off the top of my head. I don't have the best memory, but I'm still learning, man. So, you can never know enough about boxing. It's so deep in history, rich in history, but, I'm just glad to talk about it.
Yeah, what's good? Hey, man, we got D-Style Boxing in the building. D-Style is one of that. I think D-Style and Blood might have been the first boxing channels that I subscribed to. Shout out to my man in the D-Style Boxing, and y'all need to subscribe to D-Style Boxing, man. He talks about a lot of stuff, not just boxing. Really, really great live stream. He's the original king of them live streams, man. This thing of ours is dope. Absolutely, man. The LDBC, new media, these guys, man, it really added, because I don't know if you guys remember this, man, but Lord have mercy, man. You remember back in the Curtis and KQKC? Do you remember back in during the time where Oscar and those guys were fighting? If you wanted to talk boxing, you had to go to East Side Boxing. on the internet. When the internet started, it started in chat rooms.
Right.
And the chat rooms, oh my God, man. You get called, I got called every kind of monkey, every kind of, I mean, you think the trolls on the LDBC channels are hot now. If the only places you had to go was to Max, and I never forgave Dougie Fisher and Steve Kim for that, but because the first real boxing, first real boxing chat that I was involved with was Max Boxing. And that's when Dougie Fisher and Steve Kim were the editors for Max Boxing, and they would have something called Monday Mailbag, but in the street comment section, we'd be talking about Mayweather versus Diego Corrales. Man, I don't think I got called a monkey more times in my life than I got called in the middle of there, man. So just to be able to have be able to go to 78's channel, go to go to blood boxing, and there used to be this channel called Straight Left Hook. Man, that dude he only had a channel for a little while, but that dude was absolutely hilarious, man. But it really is a blessing, man. And I know that people do kind of get competitive with each other, and if you talk boxing every day, you're gonna get irritated with people, man. But it really, really, and truly is. It's a blessing to be able to do this, man, for boxing fans. Joseph Brown said, I learned a lot from all you gentlemen about the history of the sport. 78 Black Fight Fan, and you guys are the foundation, LDBC. I listened to Kurt about the history of the sport all day. Blood making great documentaries. Yeah, man. See, Black Fight Fan, to me, that's something that is really awesome. Is Black Fight Fan, in my opinion. Black Fight, because if you see me, you see me, right? Like, look over my shoulder, right? Like, you see like that Harlem Renaissance. I could probably show you, like, let me see if you see this. That's my Black History poster. Man, I love and have always really, 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 yeah, that's my Black History poster. Other than that, I got Black baseball. I love my community, man. Because the athletics, I love it, man. And it was like when you have somebody like Black Fight Fan TV that will basically like just wears that shit like boom on his badge, you don't feel I've never really felt bad about supporting Black fighters, but to see the reaction and just have something that's so contrary to what I experienced in East Side Boxing and Max Boxing's, man, it's absolutely beautiful, man. And you can disagree about things, like Lomachenko being white Jesus. I ain't never praising white Jesus, but yeah, it's a wonderful thing, man. It's a wonderful thing. So anyway, man, let's get back on to get off my diatribe, man. What? Oh man, I meant to say something. Yeah, I meant to say something about that business of boxing. But let me give it in questions to KQKC first, man. What do you think about the Deontay Wilder's profile in the United States and where it was last year versus where it is now? And do you think that that's going to affect the ability to make the fight with Anthony Joshua? Because it might seem to people that Deontay Wilder is now, basically his profile's grown so much and he's clearly not chasing Anthony Joshua. Is there any chance that his growth in his profile in the sport of boxing might actually hurt that fight being made?
Well, actually, no. Well, we all know this profile has grown. Even Eddie Hearn had to admit, yeah, it has grown. And he had more to negotiate with. He has more to say, hey, look, no, this can be a 50-50 fight, period. And we have to admit that Anthony Joshua profile has diminished. Not only here, but over in the UK also. Because they know that he's facing a dangerous boxer. They know that. They know that Deontay Wilder been chasing him for 3 years. Now, Deontay Wilder at the point where, hey, look, I raised my profile. I don't need him. He needs me, and which he does. He needs him in order to make a big, big fight and a payday. And now they know that, and they realize that, and now they at first they didn't care, they didn't want it, and now they do because their reputation is on the line. And yes, they trying to find a 2-fight deal because it's a good chance. Matter of fact, it's a pretty good chance he's gonna get knocked out or knocked down or lose. So yeah, Deontay Wilder, he worked hard, he fought hard, and he got what he deserved. Not unlike most other fighters then do. So yes, I don't think it's going to affect it. Now, I think the worst it would get is 50-50. Now, they're going to try that 60-40 crap. I know that. But Deontay Wilder, he'll hold firm. And in order to make this fight finally, which should be next year, then they're going to go 50-50 at the worst. So now, if they go 60-40, I think Deontay Wilder still would take it. Even though his reputation have grown, he still want to take it. I think he's going to take that chance. So it still would be a pretty good offer for him. Pretty much more money than he probably ever made. So we're looking at a big fight here. So that's what I'm looking at right now. So that's what I'm waiting on right now. Because Deontay Wilder, the worst he can do is 60-40. Now, anything lower than that, then it just have to wait a little longer. That's all. And like you said, keep other people out of the negotiations. Don't gag or whatever you have to do. Sit down like gentlemen and negotiate. It's a business thing now. It got to that point where you got to make this fight. You got to make this fight within a year, or people gonna start losing interest in the fight. You got to keep that fight. It's not marinating like it should be because everybody, even Jim Gray said the other night, no, we don't want to see Ortiz. We don't want to see this. Now, what I hear, he want to fight Ortiz next, but I don't think, he should fight Ortiz. Well, he can't wait. He had to fight sometime before next year, but still, they got to do this fight next year. Or if they don't, people gonna start losing interest. And what happens when you lose interest? People ain't gonna spend that money to watch it. Now, I would, and maybe a lot of other people would too, because they waiting on to see who gonna really win. So
you don't think it's gonna affect it?
No, I don't.
Cool. No. Yeah, I mean, what's your thoughts, Curtis?
Oh man, Wilder is in a very good position because his brand has grown leaps and bounds. He was out there last year. I didn't know how popular he was until he was in Ireland and they mugged him for autographs. He was at the Spencer Garcia fight. He couldn't walk one step without being mugged. He's very accessible. You can walk up to him and take pictures with him. He was in Billions, a very popular show on Showtime a couple of weeks ago. He's out there. He might be in Creed 3. There's talks and rumors about him being in a movie. You just know who he is. The fight with Joshua is going to happen. Joshua is a star in the UK, but Eddie Hearn wants him to be a star in America. That's why he's over here. The fight is a natural. You have one champion from the UK, you have one champion from America. They're both popular, Joshua, albeit regional or another country. And Wilder, is the big dog because America is the number one media market over here. And our heavy champion is popular. And his brand is growing by the day. He's coming off a sizzling knockout, one of the best, most brutal knockouts you've seen in recent memory since the heydays of Mike Tyson. So he's hot right now. When Spence beat Garcia, I thought Spence was the hottest fighter in boxing. Wilder kind of took that away from Spence. And now today, as we're talking on Sunday, Wilder is the hottest fighter in boxing with his knockout over Brazil and his string of knockouts because the heavyweight division is the division. And so now Wilder can get 50-50. I don't like talking about the money. If he gets 60-40, so be it. He just wants Joshua. And he hinted at the post-fight interview. He says the fight will happen. He was like, just be patient and the fight will take place. So people don't know, the fans don't know that these fighters talk, that the camps talk all the time about the money and when the fight is going to take place. They having a new stadium next year. So, boxing is funny like that. Maybe, they're waiting for the new stadium. You just don't know, business and boxing, it just goes together hand in hand. There's too much money to be lost if they don't fight. So the fight is going to happen next year.
Yeah, man, I think it's gonna happen. I asked that question because I wanted to state something. There's somebody that asked this question too, man. Say General Squirrels said Wilder haters don't want to acknowledge the Wilder's popularity, and there's something that Kurt said. Curtis just said where they said that he believed that Errol Spence was the hottest fighter in boxing. I actually did an analysis of the numbers for Deontay Wilder. And I'm probably going to do a video today, man. It's just, people from me, if you're familiar with the channel, I'm making a lot of changes to basically the structure of the videos that I'm doing and all that. So I've been real preoccupied with that. But I looked up the numbers I listened to Eddie Hearn. And Eddie Hearn said that he was disappointed in the numbers for Deontay Wilder versus Dominic Breazeale, and he thought because Deontay Wilder's numbers, his profile was raising, that meant that these numbers that the fight would have done better. And it's Eddie Hearn, right? And he's a promoter, and anybody that's not on a fight card of his is bad. Everything that's on a fight card of his is good. That's the nature of the job. So I can understand that. But I actually looked, and I was like, because there was a guy that did a video. I think this is a lesson. I'm going to give you guys a short little lecture for you UK dudes, okay? All right? When Deontay Wilder did 990,000 peak in 2 minutes on Showtime, okay? Some of you guys are saying, well, man, why didn't it do, there was 2 million that watched peak to Keith Thurman's fight, peaked to 2 million. That fight should have peaked to well over 990,000, okay? The sizes of the networks are important, but when I looked through it, because we all knew, everybody in the U.S. knows the difference between a fight on ESPN, a fight on Showtime, and a fight on Fox, and the number of people that are going to watch it, because one is a premium network, Showtime, you got to pay extra for it, and other ones just basically come with your cable package, right? And if you're cutting the cord, whatever, most people have ESPN or Fox. But I actually looked at the numbers, and the number 5 ranked, I don't have my notes in front of me. Let me see if I can open it with one page. If I can't open it, if it doesn't become readily apparent because I shut my notebook pad. Oh, there it goes. No, it's not. I don't have the numbers right in front of me. I'd have to search for them. But ESPN was the number, Fox is the number 3 or 4 biggest channel in America. And it averages 4 million. It does 4 million, roughly 4.7 million viewers during prime time, Monday through Saturday, right? So if you average the number of people that are watching Fox, the network Fox in the United States, between 8 Eastern and 11 Eastern, right, which is between 7 and 10 Central, that's what you call prime time. The average number of viewers that they have with eyes on Fox are 4.7 million. Okay, that is the number 3 largest network behind CBS and NBC, and I think maybe ABC. The ESPN is the number 6 largest network with 1.7 million people watching ESPN during prime time, 8 to 11 Central Eastern Standard Time, Monday through Saturday. They don't count Sunday, right? The average number of people that are watching that during that time is 1.7. Showtime averages 202,000 viewers during the prime time slot. 200,000. So I know now we're not always, the best mathematicians, but let's do some rough percentages. Thurman, which was considered to be very good numbers, peaked at 2.7, while Fox averages 4.7. So that's what you call a filler slot, and they're happy with it, right? Vasyl Lomachenko against Jorge Linares peaked at 1.7, or 1.4, something like that. And ESPN averages 1.7, and they were happy with that, right? Good, solid performance for ESPN at 1.7. Deontay Wilder peaked at 1 million when they usually have 200,000. That is a 390% increase over their average. That's huge for Showtime. Huge for Showtime. The hottest fighter, other than Deontay Wilder in boxing, was, let's take another fight on Showtime just to show you how big these numbers were. The peak from Mikey Garcia versus Adrian Bronner, and Mikey Garcia and Adrian Bronner are two of the most popular, most well-known fighters in the United States. It peaked at 980,000 for a 12-round fight. Deontay Wilder beat that fight in 2 minutes. So not only is it 390% of their average viewership, it was bigger in 2 minutes than the next biggest fight that has happened other than him, with two guys that both went on to pay-per-view, Mikey Garcia and Adrian Bronner. That's huge numbers for Showtime. Huge numbers for Showtime. And that would be huge numbers even if it went 12 rounds. What I'm telling you, and I've always been saying, is if you guys honestly look at his numbers, Deontay Wilder's been hot. He's been hot. I looked at articles that were written after the Bermain-Severn fight when they analyzed his number. They were like, this dude's pay-per-view ready now. So for you guys to be making this argument that Tyson Fury was the reason why Deontay Wilder's pay-per-view numbers were good is ridiculous. His numbers are always good. He's the hottest ticket on Showtime. In order to, just to bring it into perspective for you guys, just to put it in perspective, the numbers, in order to get the same percentage increase on a Fox card, a fight would have to do 9 million views. In order to get the same 390% of their average viewership on ESPN, a fight would have to do 4.7 million, peak at 4.7, to do what Deontay Wilder did in a subscriber base that usually only has 200,000 people watching for 1 million people to watch. And that also tells you something else, boy, that there's a large number of Showtime fighters, Showtime subscribers that only watch Showtime for boxing. It's their reason to watch the network. I have Showtime Boxing. I have Showtime. The only TV show that I watch on Showtime is PBC Boxing. That's how critical Deontay Wilder is to Showtime, and the PBC fighters are to Showtime. But if you compare him against other fighters that are said to be hot, Deontay Wilder has been hotter than everybody. Because he did 1.34 million peak against Bermain-Severn on a network that averages 202,000 during their primetime slot. Dog, how much hotter can you get on a network that small, man? People have been tuning into those one-punch knockouts. The thing is that the media have never decided to sign on for that. The media never decided to sign on for that. They wouldn't say anything about it because they're trying to push Monster Inoue. The very next day after that, they both fought on the same day. There was Inoue and Deontay Wilder. Those guys fought on the same day. Then there was an article in the boxing scene that came out and said that Inouye and Wilder ignite fans' interest in one-punch monsters. One-punch monsters. And Monster Inouye didn't even get a one-punch knockout. He knocked the guy down 3 times in the second round. Not minimizing it, but but people that want to say, oh, the weight difference, it's the weight difference. Nah, dude, either you knock somebody out with one punch or you knock them out or you knock them down 3 times. A one-punch knockout means literally that. One punch, he got knocked out. Not one punch and he got knocked down and he got back up. Then he got hit with 2 punches, he went down and he got back up. And then he got hit again and he went down and they waved it off while he's looking at you. That's not a one-punch knockout. Somehow the media found a way to take what certain members of the media found a way to take what Deontay Wilder is and dump it on Monster and Inouye. But so when you say, Curtis, that this cat is the hottest ever, I mean, he's the hottest cat in boxing. I'm telling you, you look at his numbers, he's been the hottest dude. He's been the hottest dude. Been the hottest dude. If you put Deontay Wilder and Deontay Wilder did that on Fox, Deontay Wilder would have had the next Deontay Wilder on Fox is going to have 3-4 million people, because I don't believe it'll do 9 million, because there's only a certain number of hardcore boxing fans. It's just how it is. You're not going to get 9. But to prove that what I'm saying has validity to it, what were the numbers? If somebody can tell me, what were the numbers that Errol Spence did against Leonard Bundu when he fought on NBC? He did over 6 million. Over 6 million, Errol Spence against Leonard Bundu. Keith Thurman, Danny Garcia on CBS did over 5 million. Deontay Wilder fought Dominic Breazeale. If that shit was on ESPN on CNN, on CBS, with the amount of publicity that he's getting with that style of knockout, you might get 9 million people watching him, man. Deontay Wilder's been hot. That's just a narrative that you cats that aren't from the United States and don't understand are willing to swallow. But I'm telling you, you swallowing some bump, man. You swallowing some bump. Deontay Wilder did 2.5 million against Dukakis on NBC. Yeah, that was when did he fight Dukakis? Some years ago. Was that even a defense? Was Dukakis a title defense?
Dukakis, I think, was it? I remember that fight. Well, I believe it was.
Yeah,
I could be mistaken.
Probably one of his things. Yeah, man, but the numbers have grown. Did he fight Dukakis on NBC? But yeah, anyway, it is what it is, man. I just wanted to share that with you. But at the same time, you got a problem that I see for these guys even with Devin Haney, man. Devin Haney had a great fight. How many people got to see that fight, man? You really got to be a hardcore fan to get the zone. Anyway, man, what's your thoughts on that KQKC? And then my man Curtis Anderson, and then after that we're gonna wrap up. So I know other people want to get on.
What'd you think about the zone?
Yeah, I mean, just what you want to talk about, what you want to talk about, and then pass to Curtis Anderson, and we're gonna wrap it up.
Okay,
I'm a little bit over.
Okay, well, I just want to just say that we're getting the fights we want. And boxing haven't been this huge. And what I mean by this huge is like every weekend we getting some type of fight. I don't care if it's heavyweight, middleweight, welterweight, or bantamweight, whatever. We getting the fights. Now, if we can get control of the fights we want to see, the fights that other fighters that's trying not to, drag it out, trying to get the most money, and just let the fighters fight it out. If we need more unifications, then boxing it can bring itself back. Because once the welterweight come back, then everything else will fall in line. I've seen it before. That's how it goes. But once the heavyweight goes, then so goes boxing. See, I don't know why, but maybe because the heavyweight is the bigger weight. I don't know. But it gets the most attention. So, I mean, you have to admit, Deontay Wilder is getting more attention than Errol Spence. But they are both good fighters. But heavyweight always get the most attention because they're the biggest hitters. Because one punch always can change a fight in the heavyweight division. So therefore, people come out to see heavyweights, good heavyweights. no cherry picking, no Swartz, nothing like that. We want to see the best, like Fury, Joshua, Wilder, maybe Ortiz in there a little bit, so we want to see some good fights. So that's about it. Okay, that's all I got, Kurt.
Yeah, boxing is in a good place, man. A lot of consistency, but boxing always thrived on the big fights that catches the public's imagination. Man, that Wilder and Joshua fight is hot like fish grease, man. You can do a tremendous job of hyping that fight because it's a natural. Two heavyweight champions that's undefeated from two different countries. Polar opposites. You can have the military music and don 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 and UK invades America. I mean, you can go any angle in that fight, man. It's a natural. It will happen. We need the big fights to keep boxing as a sport afloat. Fighting on the app. I mean, they're giving money, out like it's nothing. That's why they're in debt. The zone is trying hard to sign Gary Russell Jr. because they want American fighters. They have Devin Haney. And you heard Hearn hooping it up for Haney. Haney couldn't get a word in. So that's what he wants. So that's his because he's trying really hard to topple the American market. So he need American fighters. He knows that. But boxing in general, hey, I love the consistency. Last night, man, was a great time. Had a lot of good fights. Poche versus Newman was a barn burner. The knockout of Haney, the women's unification was great fight. So I'm happy. So we have to we've been patient. We'll just have to be patient for the big fights, the two fights, Spence Crawford and Wilder Joshua will happen. You still have Canelo in there. We want to see Canelo and Charlo, Canelo Andrade, and Tank and Burchell. But these fights will happen. So we got Prograis and Taylor coming. So hey, Donaire and the Monster. So hey, I'm happy. I was going to walk away from the sport of boxing, believe it or not. But I had to change of heart. I'm seeing what I'm liking what I'm seeing. So hey, let's just sit back and enjoy the ride.
Yeah, pretty much, man. I'm trying to make sure. I want to verify something. Yeah, that was on. Yeah, the fight with Duhaukas was on. It did 3 million. It did 3 million. That was 2 fights after. That was 2 fights after he had after he won the title. And I'm just looking to see something. Just to verify it. Yeah, that was it peaked at 3, and that was September of 2015. That was the second fight. That was the fight that was in. That was that fight that was in. He fought in Birmingham, Alabama. Yeah, but that was like 3 years ago. So it's not like he was built up. That was the second chance. That was his second fight. But it is what it is now, and his numbers are excellent. So look, I appreciate everybody in the chat. But I definitely did want to check that last thing, man. Appreciate everybody, man. Curtis Anderson, please tell people how to give me your show information again.
Oh man, first foremost, thanks for man. It's been a pleasure, man. We need shows like this. OG Boxing Talk, man. It's a great platform. Thanks, KQKC. Blood has some technical issues, man. But thanks for inviting me. You can find me at World Breaker Fighting. That's Monday through Friday, 2:30 Eastern time. I'm on there, every day, daily. On the weekends, I do Kurt Sugar versus the World at night. I haven't been consistent because, my health, but I'm feeling a lot better. Plus I had the 3 Wise Men of Boxing, which is every Saturday, me, Stormy B, man, and Scrapbook Boxing, 11 Eastern, man. And hey, it's just a great time to be a boxing fan. And, hey, the LDBC is doing it, man. And we monopolize everything, man. And like I always say, same time, same channel.
Yes, sir. KQKC, let them know how to get with you.
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir. You can catch me right here on YouTube at KQKC Boxing. And you read all of the information right there where you say show more, and you could go down to all my websites and Twitter and email and my Gmail also. And you get in touch with me, and I will be going on live next. So I appreciate Fanon, and he's a great guy and one of my great mentors, and a great channel too. And I like this OG boxing. You know, you get a chance for a mature man talk about boxing, old versus new, new versus old. So I love it. I'm always here, always will be here. So thanks again for the event.
Right. And Ivy Webb says, peace. Hey, thank you. Hey, it's going to go to something, Ivy Webb. We appreciate you, man. You are a great supporter of this. UA Weapons, Toot Robinson, Gregory Wyatt. God, man, everybody that gives in the super chats, man. I can name everybody, man, that comes through. Justin Marsh, man, everybody that tips. And if I forgive me for not, saying everybody's name that it constantly is supporting the LDBC, man. As part of the LKO, as part of the LDBC, man, I'm telling you, it's that you guys really do you guys make the difference. You guys separate, you guys in large part separate us from them other cats, man, because it's tough to deal with it when you got people that show that much love. So look, anyway, I'm gonna let everybody go. KQKC is gonna come on next. And with that, we out. Peace.
Okay.
Peace.
Peace.